morning. We are getting ready to do some yoga, some Paula yoga this morning. I am Paula Green. So it's time to, good morning, ladies. It's time to roll out your yoga mat, get something warm or, a cool glass of water. I'm missing you all completely, but let's share this experience on our mat. You never know, you may need a few props if you like them. We can get away with our practice without them, but you may need some blocks, strap, bathrobe tie is perfect. I'm bringing a dog in. No, he's not coming in. I thought we might need a dog for the practice, but no, we don't need any dogs. Before we begin, I just want to remind you that this is a virtual class, and by participating in this video, you are understanding that I can't adjust you. That's probably not going to be happening for quite some time, or correct your position. So listen to your body and be safe. So let's come have a seat on our mat. And whatever is comfortable for you is going to be great. You just want to sit, even in a chair. You can always modify this to a chair yoga type class. But just have a comfortable seat. Feel your sits bones rooted. Take a hand to your heart, a hand to your belly. And as you just settle in, roll your shoulders a few times. Let them roll up, back, and down. And then reverse direction. Now as we're rolling, let's ignite just a little bit of strength, a little bit of fire that comes from the pelvic floor up into the low of the belly. And this is our structure to help us sit upright. So after we finish a couple of rolls, maybe do your own little modification of rolls, get your head on right. Usually we hang it forward a little bit, and that creates stress. So lift it up, and as you lift it up, feel your chest open. Feel your shoulders roll down your back. Feel your ears float right above your shoulders, and let your eyes look down, and then entirely let the lids of your eyes close. Notice if the thighs are trying to hold the bones up, relax and release the inner thighs. Flip the palms of the hands open. Relax the upper arms. Let your elbows go heavy. And then breathe to stretch your belly out. So don't be afraid to hold and just let this belly expand. And then when there's no more expansion, expand the ribs a little bit with that in-breath. Maybe the chest lifts and expands. And then as you exhale, slowly release the breath. Feel it release from the chest first, the ribs, from the belly, into that pelvic floor that we felt that structure of sitting upright. That engages a little bit more. We continue to hold that as we breathe in again, expansively, slowly. And breathe out. And let's take one more breath, just with eyes closed, nice and relaxed, still. So when you're ready to open your eyes, start with a downward focus and then slowly let your eyes lift up. And as you do, take your right arm and lift it high to the sky. And reach it up so much, move through the wrists, move through the fingers, and then begin your side stretch. Keep your ribs in. Feel the neck stretch as the head moves to look down and up. And keep a slight movement, a slight exploration of your arm. As you breathe in again, use that in-breath to float yourself up. And then as you breathe out, slowly lengthen and reach that left arm up high. Relax the shoulders, keep reaching, keep lengthening. And then allow there to be a bit of a side stretch. Allow it to happen because we're looking for space. we're looking to stretch. Keep your shoulder down. Stay light on your left fingers, your right fingers. Move your head, feeling that stretch through the back, the upper part, the chest. Keep it out of the shoulders. And then as you look up, take a deep breath in and come up to sit. Now let's breathe in again. Take both arms up high to the sky. And then as we breathe out, turn to your right side. Keep your left hip rooted. So feel that rooting back. Fingertips and front and back hands come to the floor. Inhale, rise up. There should be a little bit of strength going on through the low belly. Exhale, anchor that right hip, twist above it. Keep twisting from the base of the spine, as low as you can go, up, but keep that hip rooted. I know. Let's inhale again, bring the arms up, and then continue to just twist and untwist yourself. Let go of any destination. Just let yourself go. Feel yourself just take the twist from your belly, through the ribs, the chest, the neck, right up through the crown. And as you untwist, feel that length. One more time to both sides. And over. Inhale, rise back up. And then come on up. Seriously, rise right up. Get onto your feet. Whatever you had sitting, throw it away. Pick up your right foot. Do the hokey pokey. Just kidding. Kind of not kidding, but kidding. So shake your foot around. How loose can you get it? Now, if you need, you're at home, find something to support if you find that your balance is way off. But usually, I find at least, I can balance better when there's movement. So just shake, shake, shake. Shake your footy. Shake your foot. And then bring that right foot down and really roll it around. Feel the pad of your foot stretch out. All the toes separate. Roll around. Feel the top pads, bottom and the heel. And then find that structure. Root down through the right side. Maybe even a little bit of a lift through the kneecap. As you take that left leg up, do the hokey pokey. Just shake it. And what's keeping us balanced right now is the belly. Keep lifting up through the core. Keep your shoulders relaxed, the head on straight. And then you got it. As you bring your foot down, feel it root. Widen the toes, roll around it. Beautiful. Now let's shake out the wrists, shake out the hands, get the feet so that they're in a comfortable stance, a comfortable standing position. Make sure that they're even. You don't have one foot pigeoned out to the side. Soften the knees, scoop the tailbone under. Try to get the crown and your tail aligned. Breathe in, bend the knees. Not totally a chair pose, breathe out. You use the thighs, the buttocks, and the low belly to stand. Keep the shoulders at ease. Take a little bit of a deeper seat. And then come back up. Now I want you to stretch out the ankles. So don't sit back. Try to keep your tailbone up somewhere between the heels of the feet. Bend the knees down. Try to keep the weight out of the knees. Use the buttocks. Come back up. And then one more time. Keep the heels rooted. Come on down. Now stay down. Stay in this slight chair pose. Bring your hands to the sides. And then float them back up. Now you should feel this. Quads, maybe even low, but not at the knees. The buttocks are holding us up here. The belly is making the load light. So we're not taking all of this stuff, right? The shoulders, the head weight, and sinking it down. We're using the core. And then we're stretching. We're finding a sense of softness. The shoulders, the neck, the jaw. You should feel the quads strengthening. Keep that left hip back as you twist to the right. The knees are softly bent. Inhale, slowly unspiral that spine. Keep that right hip rooted, twist. Inhale, come back up. Shoulders at ease. Keep that left hip anchored. Bring it back up. Where these arms go, nobody knows, right? You're in your own home. Maybe they stay to the side. Maybe they start to float down. Strength, though. This is stable. This is soft. Yes? So let the arms do their thing, but we're strong. And you may find that you're rising, making things easier. Get back to where you started from. A few more. Now, if you're rising because your knees, please come up. One more to each side. Now check your knees. Don't let one lead in front of the other. Yeah. Bring it up. Now let's come up to stand, and as we do, take that right foot back behind you. Can you grab for the ankle, the foot, maybe even some fabric? Now we're just playing here, so we'll soften that left knee. The hips are still weighing back a little bit, and then let that left arm swing up, and then take your stance. So really root as you come up. You don't have to turn yourself around. And then come up. So we're not taking it from the knee or the ankle. We've got amazingly strong muscles. The quads, it's like a group of four, their own little gang of strength. The buttocks, the belly. And down. Root that right foot down. Let's take that left foot. The ankle. Bring the knee in. Belly drawn in. Shoulders at ease. Let's soften. And come back up. Soften. And back up. Now you may need to just check your shoulders. Keep them even. And check the weight, so slow down this dip here. Keep it out of the knee, my friends. Please. You got better places to work. One more. Right here's that one more. And then root that left foot down. Beautiful. Let's come back. Bring those hands to your heart center. This is what we'll do. We'll grab around. Thumb down, reach for that right foot, and then take it back to a soft chair. Grab for a foot, keep the belly strong, take it back. Sink it back into the rear and back. One more to the right and back. And to the other side. You know what I think about our quads? I'll tell you what I think. Let's come up to stand, shake it out. I talk about Ben and Jerry too much. If you don't know them, they're on an ice cream container. And where I'm getting at is our quads allow us the ability to occasionally, enjoy some time with Ben and Jerry. So we've got these legs nice and strong, right? Feel them rooted down. We're going to soften the knees, even though we have a strong stance. Get this wave and inhale. So we open through the chest like a superhero and extend the arms up high to the sky. And as we bow down, I want you to open the back body. So we roll back a little bit. We bend the knees. We soften and we let ourselves just hang down from the strength of our belly lifting. Yeah. Now let your head just go. If you have a messy bun, if you have the crown of your head sticking down towards the floor, right? Then make a little bit of a figure eight with that. The crown, the bun, whatever's going on here. And hold on to your elbows. Let the weight of them sink and open up to the shoulders. And we're easing back some of the weight into the heels. Let's take a deep breath in, and then as you breathe out, bring your fingertips to the floor. Step your right foot back. Come into a lunge position. And you can lower that right knee down and slide your weight back as you bring your left hand up to your right. Your left hand to your left knee. Your right hand, spoiler alert, it's going to go around and see if we can grab. I know it's early in our practice, but we've been doing this movement in the body. So we've been opening up through the front of the thigh. Let's just see if we can reach back and release. And we don't have to even tap it out. You may surprise yourself, though, with where we've come in such a short amount of time. Now, if it feels right, grab. We're looking for just a bit of a quad stretch. And if you're really tight in the quads, then honestly, this is going to be enough. Be honest with yourself. It's okay. Right, so find what really works for you. And we're looking for this. Just a little bit of this. Okay. Take another deep breath in. And then as we breathe out, release. Tuck the toes under. Bring your hands to the floor. And we're going to come into down dog. You can take your time to do this. You can take that step back with the left knee, widen, come into a bit of a child pose. And child pose is great. It sets you up for down dog. How? I'll tell you. You extend the arms forward, right? Widen the fingertips and the shoulders relax. They slide away from the center of the back. You want to continue with this stretch. Feel that pull back through the hips, the crease of them, from the quads, the low belly. You want to continue to feel that. Now, I tell people all the time, downward facing dog, it's not about getting the legs straight. No, it is more about this gorgeous spinal extension that you'll feel as you just allow yourself to pull back the belly, the thighs, let the head go, the shoulders relax. You can walk your dog out once you get there. You get a little bit of a rhythm. Feel where the heel of your foot is landing. You want to begin to find some parallel points of where that heel connects, right, to each other. Meaning you don't want the heels to be out to the side. The feet are parallel. And then as you're ready, the next breath or three, we'll slowly, lifting the weight of the belly, bring your feet back up to the front of the mat. And then we'll take that ragdoll again. We'll feel what needs to soften as we fold and let the elbows hold on to themselves. The shoulders relax. Let the head go. We'll take a deep breath out and then all join together. Arms out, sun breath style as we float into chair position. Inhale. Exhale, palms come together and we slow roll. We bow to the floor. Let's take a half stretch. Let the hands float up to the thighs. Press into the thighs to straighten the legs. Lift through the belly to extend. And then exhale, let yourself soften again. And this time it's that left foot that will step back. Right knee stays over ankle. We take that knee to the floor behind us. We ride ourselves up. Right? And then we begin again. We make sure that alignment is smooth and our balance is on. And then we see if we can just stretch out through the thigh. A little bit of a deeper stretch. We don't want to put pressure into the knee. Again, the lunge itself is an amazing extension through the quads, even through the front of the hip, and the low belly. So find what works for you. The head is light because we're lifting. Center the belly. Beautiful. Take a moment to find what's working for you. And we're going to do that same thing. Find what's working for you as you release the foot. And after a few breaths, we'll come together in down dog. So this may mean spending a little more time in the lunge. May mean coming back into child pose and enjoying that. Or it may mean rising up into downward facing dog right away. Walking the dog, maybe even finding that extension through. The weight of the head goes. Now imagine that you can breathe into all the parts of the body that feel a little tight, that feel like they might be fighting this. Maybe it's in the shoulders going no, or the thighs, or wherever. Just see if you can imagine that breath just traveling and letting go. Let a wave, a ripple of release happen. Extend back a little bit more. Take one more deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, we're going to step or hop to the front of the mat. Stay light here. Soften the knees and let the arms extend out to the side. Stay in chair pose. Look at those hands as they come together, up overhead. And then let yourself bow, fold back down. Lift up halfway. Find that extension, that length through the spine, the belly strong. And then let yourself go because of the strength of the belly. Take the right leg back. Don't bring the knee down. Just dip it a little bit and then pull back as we rise up. We're keeping the knee bent for a moment. We're adjusting the hips so they're even with each other. We're keeping that right heel off the floor and make sure it's spacious. It's parallel. It's got its own tracks to be on. It's not sharing one with that left foot. And then keep those hips steady. The tailbone tucks. That stretch through the quads, the thigh, the belly. Let's reach the arms up as we take a high lunge. And then don't just stay here. See where it grows. Keep it out of the low back by lifting through the spine. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Now we're looking for freedom. Right through the front of the body. Waves of it through the breath. Not restriction, not constriction. That's when we push, we force. So let's take one more celebratory breath. Really open up, deep breath in, and then exhale. Feel the belly float into the back body as you transition to plank. Bring the knees down, roll the spine, come into child pose, roll the spine, keep the tailbone tucked under. And from that tuck under, we'll reach a point where we need to open through the chest. Lift out of the ribs, roll the shoulders back. Don't just crinkle the back of the neck. Float through the base of the skull. Lift up the gaze. Exhale. Roll back. Tuck toes under. Let's all find downward facing dog. Now if your down dog right now is child pose, I'm okay with that. Keep those shoulders at ease. Now any modification that, or anything that we do through down dog can be modified in tabletop. That's how I should say that. So find yourself coming into tabletop, breaks, child pose, or anything else that just allows you to go, okay. And then join us again. Right? Let your breath be the guide. If you feel like your breath is starting to hinder, right? It's harder to keep that depth, then back off a little bit. And if that makes things a little bit nerve-wracking, go with that. Try to let go. Steady the breath. All right, so from there, downward dog, bend those knees. Right heel comes to buttocks. And then we press through the thigh. So it's that extension to bring the leg up into a happy, happy dog. Now just move the ankle around. Keep pulling back to the thigh. So we're not bringing the weight forward. We're pulling back. Let the head go, shoulders wide. Release the jaw, the tongue. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, a big rounding of the spine as you work towards bringing your right foot forward. So notice I say work towards right foot forward. And then we'll soften, we'll dip into that left knee. Steady with the hips, right knees over the ankle. And guess where we're at again? At a place where we want to feel some space. So keep your hips square by pulling the thighs together, drawing in from the outer hips. And then stretch the thigh, the belly, reach the arms high, relax the shoulders, release the neck, the jaw. I want you to stick out your tongue. Notice the release in the jaw. Lift up through the thigh to keep that back knee strong and keep lengthening. See where it goes. Drop the shoulders. Feel the chest open. One more deep, wonderful breath to go waves through the front of the body, right? Building those waves. Exhale, take it down. Now, can you keep yourself floating high as you come into plank? Now, if not, those knees can come down and you can take yourself back into child pose. Otherwise, we're here, right? That belly, this little belly is lifting. The ribs, your beautiful ribs, they're lifting. The chest is lifting. We're working towards floating above the wrists. The eyes of the elbows face each other. The inner creases. Now as we transition, let's all bring the knees down. Bring those elbows in towards the ribs. And that brings those eyes towards the front of the room. And then let yourself come down together, the whole back. Scoop the tailbone under, and then roll out of the hips to rise into upward dog. Root back through your toes. Lift the quads, tuck the tailbone. Pull the belly back, the ribs back to expand the front of the body. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, roll through. Tuck toes, come into downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale with soft knees. We bring the left heel to buttocks. We do. Inhale, extend the leg up high to the sky. And then exhale, round the spine as we bring the foot forward towards the front of the room. Dip into that right knee. Pull back. And then step. Right foot forward. We're in chair pose. That was nifty. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, come to stand with your hands at the sides. Now let's bring right arm up. Left arm takes its hand behind your head. Scoop the tailbone under. We're going to take a baby back bend supporting the head. And you can even take the palm and get a little bit of an extension. Take the weight off of the neck. Take a deep breath in. Don't crush that low back. Lift evenly. Feel an even stretch. Don't go beyond. And then release. Come back up. Feel the quads press back. The pelvis come in line. The floating ribs over. Hands come down. Notice. All right, you know you want to stretch again to even things out. Inhale. Bring the arms up. So now it's that right arm coming down to support. And that left arm is going to continue. And we can even use the palm of the hand to stretch through the neck and reduce the pressure through the base of the skull. Stay out of the low back, lift up high, relax the shoulders. Deeper breath into the body, and we'll use that exhale. It's strong to help us lead back into an upright position. Let the arms face forward. Roll the shoulder blades together. Bring the hands up high. Exhale, bow to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway. Find the thighs, maybe the shins. Exhale, soften again. Let's go ahead and step the left foot back. Let's bring that left heel down. And then bring that left arm back. Pull back through the thigh and slowly find our warrior two. Now I want us to come up. Straight leg through that front. Exhale, open up. Right knee over ankle. Now as we come up, just kind of let it go. Notice what happens. And then steady pelvis here. Both thighs press back. Keep the tailbone tucked. Notice if there's a slant that happens in the pelvis. Let's do this a few more times. Now your torso shall not be leaning forward. So we want to keep a gentle pull back into our left side. The thigh pulls back, the arm, so we don't have this slant. And whilst doing that, to make sure that right knee is not caving in, finally find your warrior two. So it's not perfect because we're all made differently. The shapes of our bones, the spirals in our body are all different. So what we'll do is find our footing in the back. It's going to be different for each person. So begin to rotate that foot in and notice if you feel that connection with that right knee being able to open up a little bit more. The hips for sure will not be completely even, but we don't want to help them be at a slant. Right? And I'm drawing the buttocks in and keeping that low belly long. Let the arms stay out to the side. Let the palms flip open. So we're not stressing the shoulders out. It's a real work in progress. I'm just going to give you the flip side view. But it truly is a work in progress to keep the back body and the front body evenly stretched out. Letting everything pull in. Reach through fingertips. Relax the neck. Look daringly over that front arm. And then as we breathe in, slow and steady, stretch through your right arm. Lift up high. Feel that gorgeous stretch through the ribs. And then exhale. We're going to float back down. We'll find our plank. We'll stay lifted through the belly. Bring the elbows in, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, let yourself open into upward facing dog. Exhale, roll it back into downward facing dog. I want you from here to walk your feet forward. And now take your right foot back. Keep that left knee over ankle and roll back into that right side to begin to lead yourself into warrior two. So I always try to give you a lot to think about for your body, right? So we cue in, we key in. Feel like that's part of the asana, our physical practice in yoga is about. Press the thighs back. Draw the tailbone under. We begin to lift. And we begin to come back down. Right. Some of us, sometimes we have to burn a little bit more. Some tapas in the body. So that we can get clear in the head. Right. Some of us need to go run our miles, lift some weights, punch a bag. Power yoga, hot yoga. Others just need a little bit to release in the body. So once we're here, begin to root through the feet. Make those final touches. Let those palms flip open and feel that stretch through the torso now. Notice how you can feel the back body expansive, the front body expansive. Keep the thighs open and your head on straight. Inhale. Find that stretch through the side. Try not to lose that left knee opening. Keep stretching. Release through the neck. Now lift it up. Bring the hand down. Let's take it back to plank. Bring the knees to the floor. Pull the hips back. Child pose. Bring the elbows down. Let's take the palms to the floor. Brush the forehead, the nose down, and then roll on up. A little bit of a wave. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Pull back into downward facing dog. Now relax the shoulders. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bend the knees. We're going to take right heel to buttocks and extend the legs up high. Exhale, step that foot forward, round through the spine. Let's take that left foot. Swing the arms forward, chair pose. You got it, Buster. From here, let's slowly stand up. Take your right thumb down and back. Let that right side of the chest open up, shoulder down. Take that right foot and then grab for not the inside. We've got that opening through the shoulder, but then turn your wrist only in towards the foot and grab for the outer ankle or foot, and that will help bring the knee in. And then extend, roll those hips so they're facing forward, outer hips drawn in. We tend to do a hyper arch here, chest open, or we get completely imbalanced in the hips. So those are the keys. Stay in the body. Keep those hips square. Soften your knee, and then find that extension through the right side of the body. We've been looking for this stretch, right? From the thigh, the belly, the ribs. Even when we took it to the side, we're starting to get that side angular stretch. So don't think of this as I'm trying to go into this perfect dancer, Natrajasana. Think of it as I'm trying to create space. I'm trying to stretch through the thigh, the front of the hip, the belly, the ribs. Maybe get a stretch through the shoulder, the arms. And then float yourself back to chair. Beautiful. Find that rooting, right? That's what I'm doing with my feet. So I'm trying to get them rooted, feeling the floor beneath my feet. And then slowly come back around. And we'll take that thumb down. Right? And it might feel like we're opening up. And that is a nice little stretch, but a lot of times for our body types, it's probably not the best way to go about things if you're feeling it in the elbow, the wrist, the shoulder. So let's just keep it safe. Draw the thighs in. Find that stretch through. Find your dancer. Extend. Play. Keep your shoulders square. Jaw at ease. Keep stretching. Exactly. One more deep breath in. One more deep breath out. Come back to chair pose. Yep. Step your right foot back. Bring your right heel down. Now that left foot, it's going to slide back until you can straighten both legs. And then square the hips. So what you would do for warrior one or a high lunge, take a third of that out, right? So now you're just 2/3 into what you would do. We're going to pull the hips back, lift the belly up, and this is where sometimes blocks are handy. They bring the earth to you, and they keep the schlump out of your back. So if that sounds like a good deal for you, grab the blocks, place them underneath. Right, take the weight out of the shoulders, the neck. Now, if you can go further, then by all means, tuck it in again, go further. So we'll pull back, and that right hip may want to drift out. We're not letting it drift. We're squeezing in, pulling back through the hips evenly. And it's a little play as we work on releasing. An extension through the back of the legs. I feel it, right? Every time I go down a little bit more, it pulls, it lengthens. And whenever we lose it, we'll bend, we'll get cattywampus. So maintain. Light through the arms, light in the head, because we're pulling back the quads, the buttocks, the belly. The feet are rooted, they're not flipping out to the sides. Take another deep breath in and out. And notice some of us, our calves really need a good stretch, so we can anchor back through the heels of both feet. Anchor back deeper into the hips. Lift up through that front foot. Widen the toes, let the head go. Oh, it's just delightful. Now, what we're doing next is something special. We're going to play with our standing splits and then toe tapping our wrists. So we're going from one extreme of flexibility to another extreme of holy guacamole strength. This is how we'll do. When you're ready, right? Some of us, again, this is just heaven, so stay and enjoy. When you're ready, roll into and begin to lift up that right leg. Now the hip wants to come out. We're going to roll it in. You can use your blocks here for sure. But we're going to roll in. Now both heels we're going to press into. Keep those hips square by drawing in. Now if you have your hands on blocks, okay, this will work. All of us. We're going to come down, and as we do, lift up into the hips. So use the muscles through this hip crease here. Above, keep lifting, and see if you can tap a block or your wrist. If you can look up, I'm tapping my wrist here. And then slowly keep your pinky toe anchored inward. As you come back, press through the heels, feel that extension, relax the neck. Lower that right leg. Lift up. Can you tap? Can you tap? There should be a lot of strength going on here. And then lift again. Now one more tap. You're going to take it down. Tap it. Are you tapping? Are you holding it? Are you staying up? Now step that right foot back. Keep stepping it back until the left knee is right over the ankle. That's important. And then come on up. Now I got you. This side, right? Let's pull the hips back. Come into a half split over here. Open up, fan out the toes, but have them evenly drawn back. Draw the outer thighs in. The belly is going to keep the spine lengthening. We'll pull back into that low belly, just enough. And we'll bow down. Release. Now you're home, so definitely get a blanket, something to pad your knee. There's no reason for you to have discomfort. And if you don't want to go, I always recommend fold your mat up a couple of times. Yeah. And you should feel this. You can anchor back through the hips a little more and extend the crown. And it just takes that stretch deeper. Now, if you want to take this stretch towards the front, the shin, then keep the weight pulling back. Point the toes. we're going to take about 2 or 3 more breaths, just enjoying the moment. Right, these days, there's no rush. There's no rush. Now we'll take it back forward. And we'll come into a ragdoll. We'll use some of the strength here, the thighs, the belly, to ease into the transition. Or transition in. And then let yourself go. Just surrender. Soften the knees as much as you need to. You can even use your blocks here. Just let there be a release, a sweet release. Can you use the weight of your head for something like traction? Just let it go. Oh yeah. That is so useful. Relax the jaw. And you know we're not going to rest for too much longer. Just a few more breaths. Just a few more breaths. I hope all you people that are watching are doing. It feels good when we share and do together. I'm a big part of what I miss. If you ever see me, I pace a room in a class. And I read energy. And that's kind of what takes over, right? I don't teach a class, I teach to specific people, I feel like. But we'll soon be there again. But I feel that energy when we practice online. It's different than if you just record. All right, we've got that left leg to play with. So you should be finding a really good stretch when you go into Prasarita Ekapadasana, our beautiful, one-legged standing split. And then when you bring that foot down, this is actually a fabulous prep for handstand because we're learning to not put the weight down into the wrists. If you notice, in order to swing that weight down or swing the foot down, you have to really pull up. You really have to ignite some muscles that you might not even know that you had right around that hip bone area that you want to pull up and pull back. So if you aren't there already, take that left leg, lift it up high. Now we're not overdoing it. We want to feel an extension. Press the heels away, draw the hips, outer thighs in, let the head go. Deep breath in, and then as you breathe out, let's lift the hip bones up, press them back, and go to tap for your wrist. Just hold it there like it's nothing. And then let's slowly swing it back again. Outer thighs in, draw the belly in. See where you go. And then take it back to a tap. Lift through the hips. And you might find it's not really going. It's pulling back into that hip bone. Pull back into that hip bone. And lift the hip bone high. Let's take that heel back up. Extend it high to the sky. Outer thighs hug in. Let the head go. Tap the heel. Or tap the heel. That would be easier, wouldn't it? Tap the wrist with the toes. And then we're going to take that wonderful stretch. We'll step our foot back, bring our right knee forward. Beautiful. Let's come on up for a moment, lift through the belly, and then let's take that wonderful half split. Ardha Hanumanasana. Relax the shoulders down. Keep the belly lifting. The shoulders at ease. The outer thighs are working to draw in. Otherwise, we're kind of over here. We'll start to feel, if you transfer that awareness to the hip, start to feel it doesn't feel right. So strengthen a little bit as you draw the hip into alignment. Now keep pulling back through the hips. We're going to bring that foot, go into a point, release. Take a few more breaths.
And then we'll bring the knee back over the ankle. Tuck the toes under. Slide the foot in enough so you can bring the heel down. So again, we're about 2/3 distance to what we would be normally if we were going into a lunge or a warrior. I'm going to be able to straighten the legs and squeeze the outer thighs in. Let the belly lift, and let's stay hung over our right foot. The shoulders go. Just notice how free or unfree that breath feels in the back body. Where can you let go? And we can always use strength coming from the quads, the buttocks, the belly. There's wonderful gangs, the trifecta of muscle groups here. So keep pulling back. Maybe even taking that calf stretch as we keep rooting back through the hips. Light on the pad or the heel of your foot as you flex your toes back. Take one more full deep breath in and out. And then bring the foot down. Pull back through the hips. Bring the arms up. Come up to stand. Beautiful. Let's walk the feet in. Shake them out. Bring yourself hip-width distance apart. Outer thighs are still hugging in, so we're not splaying out to the side. We're going to take that chair pose again. We love it so much. Pulling the weight out of the knees. Lift the right foot off the floor, and then open the inner thigh up as you shift the knee outward and lightly place your right ankle, shin, foot somewhere onto your knee. Now the trick, there's a few little tricks here, but the trick here is to keep that left knee aligned forward. We don't want it to shift in. And the pelvis, the hips, to stay neutral. And then we'll reach the arms up. That's going to extend that stretch into the back body. Tuck the chin to release any pressure in the back of the neck as we lift into that back neck. And then ease the hips back so we feel this stretch through the seat. And then slowly stand. So really focus here. What does the body need? And don't go too much into a head trip of controlling a balance. Control the bones to stay aligned by working the muscles around those bones. So come back into chair pose, but make sure that your ankles are aligned hip width from the bony parts of the hips that stick out. I'm eyeing my skeletons behind, but I'm not going to grab them. So we're going to scoop the tailbone down as we come in to chair pose here. Keep the belly filled, the ribs opening into the back body. So we're not getting into the hyper arch. And then play into this. So maybe the foot doesn't even come up towards the knee. Maybe we just cross it over the ankle or keep to the toes, right? And going back to chair, all these poses could be done on chair pose or in a chair, right? So even here, we could be working this. We could be sinking back and leaning forward, getting a great stretch, maybe even taking the balance out completely. So this is for you to modify to. Notice, though, let your head be filled with what's going on in the body. That's a great way to anchor it in, anchor it in. Where can we release? What does the body need right now? And then we slowly come up to stand, but we don't let all this awareness go. We come up with 2 feet rooted to the floor. We reach those arms up high. We take a deep breath in. Exhale, begin to fold towards the floor. Soften the knees. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, bow down. So we'll take our left foot back. And we'll bring the left knee down. And we'll pull back into the hips. Lift the right foot up and then begin to find your way into pigeon. And so pigeon, my friends, is always tricky for us. And I always like to spend some time on it. If you have a block, go ahead and wedge it right now. underneath that right hip and square the hips. And once you feel the hips square, take the block off and try not to sink. Try to just stretch the knees apart. Okay? Now from here, keep your tailbone tucked under and your hip bones. Don't have them face down. We're working them upright. So we're not only getting this great stretch through the hips, we're strengthening the belly, the back body. Right? We don't want to put the weight into our front knee, and I think that's something that happens with a lot of us. We want to pull the weight back. So we may not be down deep into these hips. That might be taking the weight in a different place. You may have to come up a little bit higher, and that's okay. Now for those of us that are down, we still feel like we could take that stretch further. That's when we grab for our back foot. If we're high up, if we're falling onto the right side, then we don't want to do that. Now when you're ready to come into a release, let's all come down onto our back. Come into that threading of the needle, or we like to say the restorative version of pigeon. We're going to keep the right knee as that bent knee in front. Now, this is nice because we're getting this deep stretch that we would get as we fold forward, but we're taking the weight off of the hips, off of the knees. We probably feel that right as we lie onto our back. So just feel that release. That pressure is off. And now we can really focus on the stretch. But know that we don't want it to be stress. It's stretch, not stress. So you feel the stretch. When you feel tension, when you feel tightness, then you back off. But you want to feel an extension without getting the hips all off. Keep them square. Feels good today to stretch. Now stay here if this works for you. If you'd like to go further, we'll take hold of this right leg that's just here, right? Saying, what can you do with me? And we're going to begin to fold it in towards the chest as we curl up towards it. And then as we come down, we're going to extend and not kick over any plants. Extend our left leg long. I'm going to go this way. And hug that right thigh in even closer. Now we want to keep the hip bones square. We don't want them to come off at all. Now curl back up again. Bend and bring that left foot to the floor. And most of us are still right here, by the way. Yeah. And then begin to draw your knee down to the side as you draw your foot behind your head. So you can continue to work extending the leg, working back, releasing. We're going to hold whatever stretch feels right for a couple more breaths. Now when we're ready, just take a moment and happy baby. And then you can either roll to one side to come up, or reach the arms up high and do a spinal rock to come up. Now take your left knee, bring it in front, and bring your right leg back. So we're going to the other side here. And this time, slowly rock your hips like they were a hammock. But instead of sinking down, they're rising up and over. And as you do this, begin to find the placement of your knee. Get your knee right in front of your hip, not out to the side. Begin to square the hips, work the hip bones forward. So we're strengthening the belly. And the trick always is the low back. So we have to find that balance of creating a stretch. The low back gets really tight. The quads get really tight. The hips, they're all connected down there working. So we start to slowly loosen in all those places. Let's get the quads to loosen. Pull the weight of the hip back, but not so far back you're compressing. Work the buttocks to help scoop the tailbone under, and the belly helps to lengthen the spine up. So we know from the other side where we're going. When you're ready, you're going to flip this over. You're going to come onto your back and find a wonderful stretch. And then if you're working your feet behind your head, we can go there too. It's a little bit of everything today. I feel like it's not a Monday if you don't try to put a foot behind the head. Just kidding. So let's release. And let's roll down. And remember, you can always bring that right foot up in pigeon, working towards the king pigeon. But that's only if the quads are looking for a stretch. So even if you notice, funny, but this side didn't want to bring the foot up, maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe it didn't need to. It got the stretch it needed. Now, if you're feeling a lot of resistance through the hip, I definitely don't want you to try to go any further. But if you're in the mood, go ahead and grab for that left leg that's just teasing itself right there and curl yourself up. You want to keep an even stretch in the back body. And then begin to draw the foot in. Go ahead and bring that right foot down for a moment. Root yourself. And then let's curl back up. And let's go ahead and extend that right leg long or keep it bent. Whatever works for you. Beautiful. And then go ahead and release and bring that knee out to the side and see if it starts to go somewhere. And one side is usually stronger, easier balance, more flexible. So you'll find one side is not as easy as the other side to do. So if it feels right, you go for it. If it doesn't feel right, then you come out. You know, if your neck is at too much of an angle coming up, most of us, I'm guaranteeing, are here just chuckling at us trying to get our feet behind our head. Now, as we continue this, for those of you that are venturing on, maybe some of my Monday night power people are here, then maybe we do want to play a little bit. Instead of going into our happy baby, coming into working those knees down closer to the sides of the body, keeping a spinal extension even as you're curling up. See if those feet can latch behind. And again, only if this is comfortable. If this is not comfortable for you, don't do it. And I can hear some of you laughing right now, and that's okay too. And then let's go ahead and bring the knees in and just begin to circle them around. And that's reverse direction. Now let's keep our back rooted down. Keep our tailbone tucked under. Feel the weight of the ribs sink, right? Maybe even make some more space in the upper back. Tuck the chin. Bring the arms and the knees over the shoulders and the hips. And then let's take our right knee out to the side, our left knee out. And let's keep our right arm and our left knee very still. So I call this the bug on its back, right? Nice and even. Bring our limbs back in and work the other side. But notice that right knee. Did it want to go out to help the left knee? That's what we're talking about. We don't want that. Now what we're doing to stabilize is we're hugging the belly in. The belly center is rooting down. Muscles through the ribs are rooting down. So if you've got this, if you found that you weren't shifting at all, then take the arms out of it and just do the knees. Right? And really a little movement is too much. So keep that left knee over your hip. Don't let it move, leave it a little bit. Don't do it. Keep your chin tucked, your shoulders even. So it's stabilizing muscles here, working to keep us still for movement. Now, if this is easy for you, then do the same arm and leg. Keep that left side still. Come back in again. Now, these are really fun to do because this is good life skills, right? For your body to know how to hold on to keep you balanced so you don't fall and lose your sense of steadiness. And when we're done, left side here, I want you to bring your feet down to the floor together. Come into a nice Baddha Konasana stance. And then I want you, and you can even have your blocks if they're nearby. You can slide them under your knees. I want you to take your hands behind your head. Keep your chin tucked, elbows out to the side. Keep the belly rooting down. Keep the tailbone tucked. Stretch out the neck. Keep the weight of the head heavy as you slowly curl up. How muscles through the ribs, like accordion, right? Squeezing towards the hips. Drawing the abdominal muscles in and then extending long. Keep the ribs down on the inhale. Elbows wide. Exhale, we curl back up. Inhale, we curl slow and steady back down. Let's take a few more. Strong, deep breathing. Slow and steady, we come down. Can you stretch into the back of the neck as you come down? Let's take a few more of these. Now in this last one, for those of you still working it, some of you I'm sure have taken a little bit of a break and that's okay. We'll stay. And let's add little pulses, just a little up, little down, little up, a little down. Five more. Nice and slow, we can count it out in our head. The belly strong, don't lead with the head. Last one. Let's all come down. Bring our feet even to the floor. Scoop the tailbone under. And slowly roll into a bridge. Try not to move your head around. As you can tell, the weight is coming down from the hips into the shoulders. But we really want to lift those hips up using the buttocks. The quads helps keep the legs together. The belly is even rising up. Can walk the arms in, bend, and see if we can hold hands. It's not a necessity. Keep the chin tucked, and that will help to lengthen the back body. The shoulders rolling in to really open through the chest, and see if you can evenly root through the feet to lift the hips. Keep the knees in parallel. If you have that habit of splaying knees out, take a block longwise between the knees. Keep breathing free through the belly. No compression, no tightness in the low back. Keep rooting the arms down to the floor to get the hips to lift higher. Just a few more breaths. Slow and steady, like waves opening up the front of the body. When it becomes a little challenging, go deeper into the breath, slow it down. And when it's your time, slowly open the shoulder blades and take your time to stretch one vertebra down at a time. Take your knees up towards the chest as you do roll down. And then we're going to come into a little bit of an inversion. So find a block, a pillow, or even just swing your legs up against the wall. I want you to soften the knees, the arms go to the side, and let yourself completely drain. Feel that energy, the weight, the blood just sink down. Take a few breaths. And as you're ready, begin to come out. Bring your knees in towards the chest. And take a twist. Knees to the right side. And left arm stretched out to the left. You can turn your head side to side. Take your hand under the knees and lead them back up. And over to the other side. We stretch. We move the head. Let the weight of the bones go. Then I just want you to stretch out whatever worked for you when you come back in from that stretch out. Maybe you come into Shavasana, legs stretched out or knees folded in. Maybe there's a pillow under the knees, the arms out to the side. Maybe you're seated or up against a wall. Let's all close our eyes. Maybe we take our hands to our heart and belly, or maybe we just bring our awareness to our beating heart. We loosen up our beautiful belly and the hips. Notice where else you can feel yourself smoothing out. We won't stay much longer, just a handful or so of breaths. Notice. Be your body's own investigator, quietly observing where the shoulders are, the knees, where the bones and the fingers meet, bones of the toes, expression of the face, and of course your breath. You're always welcome to stay longer, Shavasana, but when you're ready, you can make those little movements to help stir you awake. Fingers and toes wiggle. Be another one of those wonderful good morning stretches. And if you're on your back and ready to come up, bring the knees to the chest and be kind to yourself. Don't shock the back, the belly as you just let it relax. So it may not support you so much if you just rock up. So roll to one side. Take your time to come up. Come into a comfortable seated position. I haven't owned with you in quite some time. And I don't own in every class, but it's good to own. So if you'd like to own, I brought, this is the Vishuddha. This is our 5th chakra bowl here. So let's all join in, whether it's just by observing or actually chanting Om together. Let's take a deep breath in and out we go. As you bring your hands to your heart center, take the time to bow to the divine, the beauty, the light, the wisdom that's all within you. And then take a moment to acknowledge the beings out there, all our Hampshire Hills family that we miss. Jabigwan, namaste. And I look forward to seeing you again. Take care of yourself. You can always message me with any questions. Much peace. Jai.